And welcome one more go again. Welcome again to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. I'm your host, Raheem Algerman. I ain't important. I'm just a question asker. But we got the fella that is important sitting right here. And I told him, I said, it might just be me and you today, but we got some more people that's coming as well. Got some more people that's going to come in and hang out with us a little bit tonight. But I want to go ahead and get this gentleman, the elder. I call him Elder. Give him an opportunity to introduce himself and tell everybody where he's hailing from.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Don Carlos Sherrod, and I'm hailing from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia, the AT&D.
Yes, sir.
Now, are you originally from here or?
No, I'm from Texas originally. I'm from a little place called Kilgore, Texas. Represent Kilgore.
Yes. Now, how close is that to Dallas and Houston and all that stuff?
Okay, so I'm like 145 miles from Dallas and about 60 miles from Shreveport. All on Interstate 20. You leave Interstate 20 from here, you can go straight there to my home.
Man, so basically you're saying you're from the country.
Oh, yes, sir. All the way. Yes, sir.
There you go. Hey, I'm from the country myself. I pick all the time and say I'm not brother, but I know I'm just a country boy. I'm just a country boy.
Yes, sir. That's right. I'm a country boy. Thank God I'm a country boy.
Thank God you don't want me to start singing, brother. You don't want to do that. But listen. We're gonna go ahead on and get this thing started, man. Like I said, we got a few more people that's gonna be coming in as well. You know, as we go along, they're running a little bit behind. It's just I'm gonna say this afternoon, but I'm quite sure they're going to be here. I want to ask you this first question, and I want to hear your whole heart when you answer this question. Don, what is a black man?
Well, I think this is true of black men throughout the world, that they have some amount of African blood in them. And if we search the history, we're talking about every nationality of people. Chinese, Asian, you name it. But when we talk Hispanic, even some, but when we talk about black men for our context, we usually talk about people who identify themselves, who really say that they are black. They're not ashamed of being a black and descended from black or African ancestry. Okay. Now, that's just from the physiological standpoint, And then some other people might argue that a black man is a black man based on how he thinks, who he relates to. Does he concern himself with the atrocities and the unfairness of his culture, of his people, of his race throughout the world? Because some people will say, well, there's a black man in America, and there's a black man in Guatemala, or there's a black man in Haiti, or whatever the case may be. But I think to be a part of this thing is that you sort of identify yourself with that culture or that ancestry, or you are identified by others. Because you can be a black man and not even think of yourself as a black man, but you still are a black man in the world.
Wow. And I love what you said, and we're going to touch on that a little bit further. I want to go to Rico, but we're going to touch on the identity, how you identify yourself and how others identify you. So I want to revisit that part of it as well. But right now, Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
I can't complain. How y'all doing, bro?
All right, then, Rico. God bless you, man.
Tell everybody, I guess I just told them your name, but tell everybody where you're hailing from.
I'm hailing from Anniston, Alabama.
Good deal. Rico, and I want you to dig deep into this right here, man, and handle this question like you do majority of the time anyway. But Rico, what is a black man?
An Anglo-Saxon, European, westernized construct. That's something that they developed. And we embraced it and took it on and ran with it. A label. Depending on what continent you're on, they might call you something else. But it really all relates plain and simple to the melanation in your skin. You know, you can be light brown, you can be dark brown, you can be caramel, cocoa, and then you can get super blue black. You're still a black man. Just the only thing is, the more either embraced or revolted you are, depending on the person, on your blackness. You know, because there's colorism amongst black people, where to a point now where you have this light skin, dark skin thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Causing a division. You know, we don't like the light skinned boys and this and that. You know, even last night, night before last, might end up turning into a light skinned, dark skinned joke. I mean, between Will and Chris Rock. But that colorism thing that was developed is what created a black man. Really and truly, we are just the most melanated of the original form of the hue, H-U-E, man.
Wow.
And somebody else that lacks and colonized the world that lacked more of that melanation or lacked any of that pigment, decided that they wanted to change some things around, because at that time, maybe at one point in time in history, they were looked down upon for lacking that melanation. I mean, we are the OGs.
Exactly. Good deal. Brother Pete, hold on, I got you muted, man. You had a background noise. I muted you there. I'm gonna unmute you. Good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? Pete, can you hear me? Pete, can you hear me? You can't hear me? Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My earpiece is not working though.
Oh, okay. All right, go out and come back in so you can hear me better. Okay, let me go back to Elder. Let's go. I want to go real deep into this part of the conversation right here, because there's a lot of people that claim to be, say they are, but don't really know what it is to be, or what is a black man. So let's go a little deep. Let's dig just a little bit deeper into this thing. Elder, what is a black man? What makes a black man? Better yet, what is the black mind? Unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, it is a broad. There's a broadness in that definition, as Rico was explaining so well about colorism and melanation and all that kind of thing. A black man, when we think of that in a pot, and let me just turn it around. There are, despite the construct, the European construct, there are good connotations about black man, and there are negative connotations about black man, right? So you're gonna have to look at both sides of them, because we're talking about a broad thing here, but from the regular black man, the good connotation would be someone who owns his African or melanated identity and all of the struggles and everything annexed to it. Because you cannot think of a black man without thinking of the struggle, how other people have looked at them at us differently. Despite the great civilization of Songhai and all these other civilizations where black men have done so much. I was just reading somewhere, I saw this video the other day, and because I didn't know this, that it was black men that pretty much built the Great Wall of China. The pyramids that you see in Asia are pyramids because of black men. They were taking prototypes from the prototype of the pyramid in Egypt. So we got to understand that there is a lot of positive history, but most of the positive history has been subdued, eclipsed, suppressed by the negative. So most of the connotations of black cannot be even spoken without the connection with struggle.
Wow.
And being thought of as something different, or being thought of as inferior. In every culture, Black, for the most part, has meant inferior at some point. There was some points where it wasn't in certain cultures, but it has come to be. And I think probably because of slavery, but because of a lot of things, it has come to be what it is. So that's just one little side of it.
Okay. Don W, turn your camera. There you go. There you go. Okay. There we go. We got him in there. We got him in there. Don W, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How's it going, folks? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right, cool. I was testing out a new set. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. I see. I see you got some fancy going on over there. I see you, brother.
Yeah, I'm trying to get like you, sir. I'm a long ways away. And that's the thing of this current square that you on, man. It was like Black men are creative and men of aspirations and interest and being able to aspire to something great. So I appreciate you, brother, for setting a good example.
Absolutely, and likewise with yourself, brother. I need you. We're going deep into this thing, man, and I want to know from you, Don W. What I know what you just said, but what is a Black man? What makes a Black man a Black man?
His path and his journey and his study of his history and lineage. That is what creates the mindset, that what creates his stride. Because everybody is different, and there's the broadest sense of the Black man and what area we're in. But we have to understand, I'm 33, so there was a generation before me that had a more consistent ideology about what is it to be a Black man. And I went through a generation where we faced more of the systemic scrutiny about whether or not hey, this conversation should be dead with. There should be no more oppression, there should be no more shame, or you should be proud of who you are, yes, but at the same time you can't use this as an excuse. You don't have this. And then it was more so shielded by development. So they're trying to get to that point, but I feel as though a Black man, just in the common sense of my perspective, is the development of a mind through a struggle through his history. As you develop, you are also realizing what history meant to you or what it meant to your people, but you're also developing a true sense of what it is today and what can you do for your future Black men. So it's a lot. We are creative, we're strong, we're bold. We are people of great talent and skills, but we also have the setback. So you'll go through approach any Black man in any given community, listen to him speak, listen to how he observes the world, and you could hear the history in his voice. You could tell whether or not did you come from a place of privilege, did you come from a place of struggle, and then not only that, there's a history behind that as to where you are today. What barriers was broken down for you to get to where you are today. Coming from a small town, what we looked up to were our pastors as our pillars in the community, as someone who actually made it. They were generally about the top 10 wealthiest people in the community, for a small town. So it was like when we saw that, it was like, oh man, wow. And then you get out and you see so much broader mindset of like what someone is and how developed they are, how cultured they are, and what their journey has been. And it just kind of adds on to what your thought process is. And it's something that we behold and we grow and build our strength from. So we are all.
Rico, go ahead, brother. I gotta hear you.
I mean, I'm thinking about what Elder was talking about, man, with the Great Wall of China, you know, and the
Yeah.
Asiatic black man, you know,
Mhm.
the Moors
Yes.
that went to Europe and civilized the Europeans.
Mhm.
How we populated the world, and they're finding evidence of the Olmec heads and going from different coasts, finding remains and different remnants of people that look like us. So you ask, what is the black man? We are a direct lineage of the guardians of life,
Mhm.
the guardians of civilization, you know.
Mhm.
Now, if you look at society today, it's hard to tell that black men have that type of pride, but that's where we come from. We have that inherent genetic dominant pride about us. When we
Mhm.
walk in a room, you can feel our presence. We are intimidating to some people. That's the reason
Mhm.
why we're in the situation we're in, because
Mhm.
somebody has to hold us back.
Yeah.
We got us to this point.
Mhm.
Timbuktu,
Mhm.
that's not part of our education.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Timbuktu was eons before anybody even discovered or decided to colonize or make an America.
Mhm.
That knowledge and that science, you know, the Great Wall of China. So, I mean, you name so many things that are what they call the wonders of the world right now that people are trying to figure out how they built them.
Mhm.
And it's so intimidating to a point to try to figure out these people in America right now that you classify as inferior, less than
Mhm.
3/5 of a man. These people that you abuse and treated so unfairly got you to this point. What happened to make you want to do us like that?
Mhm.
You
Right.
know,
But
what
and
took what made you want to take that knowledge from us?
Mhm.
Because it is there, the language that we don't know, the
Yeah.
traditions that we don't know, the real meaning behind voodoo, the
Mhm.
health and things, the foods, all these different things that you made sure that we had to be erased of, so we wouldn't know just what type of kings and queens we really were, and just where we came from in this real aspect of civilization.
Mhm. That's good. That's good. Don, you wanted to say something?
yeah, I just wanted to ask Rico, like, how do you feel about that theory about, us being that pillar for building community, building these great attributes, and how the slave drivers saw themselves as superior because they designed it or they concocted the idea, and how does that transition into the today's where the praise and the intelligence and the integrity goes to the visionary, and you go into any corporation, the middle class and the workers and the lower class workers majority are what color, and the upper class are majority what color, just like our presidencies. It's like as you go higher and higher up, there's less and less and less of us. So it's like, how do you feel that plays into the reality of it? You're muted, Rico.
Rico, can't hear you, brother. Mhm.
To me, it translates today into greed, capitalism, and control of resources. Trying to maintain dominance on a physical level, or I'm gonna say not even on a physical level, but on a man-made level,
Mhm.
to I'm gonna say maybe compensate for the natural inferiority, a perceived natural inferiority. I mean, there are a lot of benefits to being a black person, and we take them for granted, not realizing that they really cherish those things.
Mhm.
Tans, rhythm, athleticism, music, the pyramids. They're still trying to figure that out.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, so now if you got control of these people that took off so far, maybe you can I don't even know if they want to go any further. I mean, you know what?
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, we could be going in a different direction if it wasn't that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, but they created an atmosphere where the black man was to be oppressed and lose hope and just be the backbone and the muscle, the worker.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we probably could be so much further ahead, but I mean, we are in under the rule of people that made bombs to drop on other human beings.
Mhm.
I mean,
Wow.
that mindset, you know.
Mhm.
That's something to think of. I mean, war has always happened. There's always been war and violence and tribal, conflicts. But man, the level of destruction of the people that have control of the resources and the level of poverty and neglect, third world countries still exist. Inequality, racism, sexism, the level of it is so extreme now to the point where it's like, we got to do some waking up and realizing who we really are. We don't know who we really are over here.
Exactly. Let me go to the phone line. Phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Leonard, good evening, sir. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening, Raheem. Real men being men.
Yes, sir. Leonard, we asking a question, man. And are you coming on screen with us or?
Man, I'm trying to get. That's why I've been delayed. I'm trying to get that to work. So once it starts working, that link, for some reason I'm having issues. I'll join on the screen.
Okay. Do you need me to resend it to you or?
No, it has. It's my. It may be my system with that link.
Okay, good.
So I'm working on it.
Okay. we asking a question, Leonard. What is and this is a simple yet very complicated question, and it depends on where we come from intellectually, how we're going to be able to answer this question. But what is a black man?
Just a man who happens to be of African descent. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, if you're trying to compare black men to something, that's a little bit different. But black man is just a man.
So that's that's the depth of who he is. Just a man.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, what more would he be?
Well, some will say in the conversation that we've had before, it went deeper into the history of who he is and what he represents in this society in which we live in, and how he's been undermined, if you will, in this society in which we live in.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I happen to be a black man.
I think I've been one all my life too. Now I ain't changed too many times. I ain't changed too many times now.
Ain't nothing strange about you.
But see, my thing is
you're just a man.
I'm not gonna say I'm no Superman, but I ain't gonna say I'm just a man either. I might be a little more than just. I'm not gonna say I'm Superman with an S on my chest, but I ain't got no W on my chest either.
I think what the big difference is one thing that's different about me is I don't share the burden of other black men.
Okay.
So I don't know how other black men have burdened themselves along with all this other stuff that people put on them. But I think that makes the difference when someone says who is a black man or whatever it may be. I don't put that on myself.
Okay, that's fine, and everybody have the right, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you're wrong in how you view it. I just view it totally different. I don't agree with that aspect of how you deal with it and what you say, because I know, and I know you study history as well, and with you studying history as you do, and as you say that you're doing, I know that to be true. I don't understand how we could get to a point where we can say he is just a man, because what other man? And I'm gonna go to Elder on this. What other man has ever endured the path of a black man? Elder?
It's so I don't know what the word is. But when I take into consideration men, I take into consideration a man. And I'm sure there are plenty of men who have had it worse than me.
Okay.
And it's not because I had a perfect life or anything, but there are some people that have really had to endure a lot of. This is why I would never compare myself with a slave. That is extremely disrespectful to me.
Why you say?
Because I'm not. I never would. What they endured.
See, and let's stay. Leonard, hold on for a minute. Hold on, Leonard. Let's stay right there for just a second. You said what they endured.
Yes.
And when you say what they endured, you're not talking about any man other than the black man.
I'm talking about the enslaved black man.
He's still a black man, though. I mean, he didn't change his color because he was enslaved.
But he's not like every other man.
My point exactly.
He was enslaved.
My point exactly. And you said he's not like any other man, and that's what I was saying at the beginning. He's not like any other man. I mean, that's what you said. I'm just listening.
But you're not a slave. You're not him.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I said something this morning. I think it was this morning when I said it on the Morning Glow. It might have been yesterday. I don't know when it was. But I said my great grandfather was a slave. My grandfather was a sharecropper. My father bought the land. Now, what is my responsibility? Now, my responsibility is to make sure that I don't disrespect my great grandfather, my grandfather, and my father in the way that I conduct and carry myself. I have a responsibility.
Every man has that responsibility.
But my thing, see, Leonard, whatever reason, I'm trying to get you somewhere here, brother. I'm trying to get you somewhere. But I got to move on, brother. Because me and you'll be doing this thing all night.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Who do you think God was talking to?
When he said what?
To man.
I think he was talking to the black man.
That's it.
Because if you study history, if you study the history and the oldest bone if you study history and the oldest bones that you say you're a historian, so let's talk history for a second. If you study history and you go back to the very first bone that was discovered here on this planet Earth that we live on, they say it was the bone of the Asiatic black man. Come on now. So if that was the first bone, that was the first bone that was here, and if God were talking to any man that was here, it had to be that individual, which was an Asiatic black man, because of the fact that they said that that's who that bone belonged to. Now, who else did it belong to? Help me understand.
So the word does not apply to white folks?
I never said that. See, now you were throwing something else in. We're not talking about white people. We're talking about the black man. I said, what is a black man? I didn't say what is a white man, Asian man, Jew man. I didn't say that. My question is, what is a black man?
A black man is nothing but black.
Okay, that's your opinion. Now let's go to Elder. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I think you have to look at when you talk about the black man. You are, as most of the people have said so far, we're connected to our history.
Mm-hmm.
I think none of us can escape our history. You know, I was looking for something today, and then the first thing came up was this, what's the registry called? Ancestry.com.
Yes.
You know, and so, and we see these many stories of people, they look up their history at Ancestry.com, and they're connected here, and they're connected there, and connected there. And a lot of people who, especially Black people who are delighted when they look back at their history, find that they are not, there was no slaves, you know, in their history. They were free men, you know, that kind of thing. And so all of us have different backgrounds as far as that's concerned. But I think we're talking about the whole the body of black men in general, what that means. And I think that when we talk about that, we're talking about a person who psychologically, many times, most of the time, has some kind of identification with struggle. Even if they're from the Black elite, let's just say they're from the Black elite, they never had any trouble, they never known consciously, the kids haven't consciously known a lot of, you know, racism from their standpoint. Mm-hmm. They know as well as I do. We know as well as I do. Even as a father looks ahead, we know they're going to be faced with it in some way or another. A prejudice that comes from the world because they are Black. And that prejudice, whether founded or unfounded, whether reasonable or unreasonable, whether true or untrue, is nevertheless existent. And if it's existent, then it affects us. Anything that exists affects us, whether it's a lie or true, it affects us. And so that is just one of the things that affects a Black person in this country. And not just in this country, but over the world. You know, where when our little baby girls, if they would have to pick a doll, they're gonna pick the white doll over the Black doll. Why is that? when the black dog looks like her and the white dog looks like somebody else. Well, that's part of that whole cultural, I mean, part of that struggle thing, that part of that inferiority thing, that superior / inferiority thing that has followed us all the way through. And so we have to deal with that. And the black man knows about that to some degree in every aspect of society, trying to get a job, trying to get an education, being respected. Black man still at the bottom of the totem pole.
Wow.
No way around it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don W, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Don. Like, you really broke it down really well. I agree with both standpoints. Where, Leonard, you're coming from the holistic view of a man being a man, but when you're born into this world, you're born with sins regardless. And I do believe that God was speaking to everybody. I'll say that just for the record. But holistically, like you said, you grow up in a world that has been impacted by different subliminal messages that have been put out there, and it has an effect on how the world treats you. Not everyone was raised in a world, not everyone was raised in a family that was trained to be able to teach you how to handle life. Some more fortunate than others about how to be able to handle the pressures of life, but there several layers to it, and so many different dynamics in our demographic in general. But even from like growing up to high school, like my daughter, like even in kindergarten, she was asking about why my skin isn't like light skin like my mommy's. You know what I mean? And it's just a random question from a baby that knows nothing about racism. That's true, and that's just getting to understand and know the world. But from a perspective of how you're treated when you come up, if you're looking for a suitor or a mate, or just a girlfriend in high school or something like that, the black man, the black boy is usually looked at, depending on what kind of school you're in, is usually looked at as ugly, or what I mean, like they got to try extra hard, and there's nothing wrong with that. It builds character. The struggles that we go through makes us who we are. But we're talking about the existence of that just systemic drive of like, hey, you're negative. Even the word, like Rico posted in the chat earlier about the definition or who created the term black or whatever, and they usually dignify that word, just because white is pure, black is negative or evil. You know what I mean? So however you look at it, I think we develop throughout, and we learn how to cope, and we learn from our parents, and then we develop and we try to correct some of those things. I feel like we as a people need to learn how to create and change and develop that narrative to become more positive and to where it affects change. And I do believe it exists. You have certain platforms who are, even Barbie, right? Barbie has started to come out with black Barbie dolls. They're starting to drive the whole idea that black is beautiful. However, I will say that it coincides with a lot of other movement that it didn't give our chance to really get acclimated to that whole idea that, hey, we're strong, we're black, we're independent, especially the black man in general. Like, it was like, hey, 1920 or in the 1900s, you're gonna get your rights from slavery, and we're gonna free you, and we're gonna give you voting rights. 1920, we're gonna give females the right to vote. And then later on down the road, it's gonna be like, all right, well, the black man, you could get a job because we have this law that will force employers to employ you. And then, like, it was just a little bit of time to where it was like, hey, black man, this is your you have a needle sized window, a thread hole to develop and come through that door. But after that, we're focusing on our own interests, like, and nothing wrong with those other interest groups. I'm just saying that we still have to fight for our voice. I feel like we still have to fight for our respect in our home. And like Leonard said, it boils back down to you just being a man. You have to be a man about yours and earn that respect, gain that respect, and fight for that respect. These, like, just being a black man, doesn't mean that they're going to give it to you because other people are fighting for it. You still have to do your individual duties to make sure that that actually comes to fruition for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rico?
See, with me, I agree with Leonard because I know where he's coming from, and this black white thing and this privilege and entitlement thing, it was hard for me to figure it out. Because as I was a youth, I also noticed the difference in the shades and the difference in cultures, but I still didn't think that one was better than the other until somebody made that a distinction. Don't be playing with that N word. Whoa, what that mean? We just playing.
Yeah,
so that's when I started realizing somebody created an atmosphere. So you asked, what is a black man? When in America, the black man is somebody that went through a black experience. A black experience that was influenced and manipulated in a way that wasn't natural. It wasn't normal. It wasn't fair. It was oppressed. It was limited. So that experience, which was so unnatural, is what the black man is now. But also based on the history of who did God talk to, God talked to the original melanated man, who was in turn later on turned by a culture that created the label black. So now here we go. We embraced it. We gave it energy and we made it live. We made it survive. I'm a black man. You got to be a man first, but based off the experience of what black man has gone through, that is the label that we had to adjust to, because we had to be identified by that, by the culture that was in rule. So I think about that, and then I think about the fact that slavery was bad, but all slaves didn't have it bad. You had the house N words.
Yeah.
It was plenty of people that didn't have a bad time in slavery. They loved boss. They wanted to help boss keep our house clean and raise our children. You get what I'm saying? So, if some people were comfortable with that because they benefited in the system that was manipulated for the black experience to be what it was, it not reach its full potential as a human being. Once again, I'm gonna go back to that human. HUE.
Yeah, got you. I got Don W and Leonard have raised their hand, but I'm gonna touch on Sharon first, and then I'm gonna come back to y'all two gentlemen. Elder, what's on your heart, brother?
I think of I like to listen, and I think of when you think about the psyche of growing up. I grew up where in a society where everybody that I dealt with for the most part were black. Okay, from kindergarten all the way up to high school, all my teachers, all my fellow students. I never thought of myself as inferior. You follow what I'm saying? The inferiority comes through the society that we live in. But the society that we live in, that clutches of that society and the vestiges of what is left by that society, you have parts of you that are inferior in your mind, that you feel inferior in your mind, even though you might not come to face it. A lot of times it's hidden from us sometimes, but it's nevertheless there. I'll give you an example, and I probably said this before. I look at this commercial sometime, there's this guy on this motorcycle, man. He's riding on this road in Montana with all these mountains or whatever, and just having a good old white guy, having a great old time, okay? And I can't help but in my mind know that if that were me out there, or my son, your son, whatever, his opportunity of going through that whole process unharmed, unbothered, how shall I say, not affected by his race in some way or another, by as people stare at him as when they pass by him or whatever the case might be. That's going to be probably next to nothing. And they're going to be, and the first thing I think, because of my where I came from, somebody going to mess with him. Somebody's going to mess with that. What you doing out here? You know? Okay. In the United States of America, because of racism in this country.
Wow. That's good. That's good. I can't remember which one of y'all had your hand up first.
Don can go.
Okay.
You know what? I do understand what people are talking about. Trust me. But however, if I tell you I feel inferior to a white man, I would be lying to you.
Oh no, none of us do.
No, you can't have it both ways. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. The Spirit of God came to me as a child to let me know. I looked all around in nature. I seen all the diversity in nature. God said, "That's how you know man is wrong." If I created everything like this, that's because that's how I wanted it to be. I didn't want you to be like nobody else. I didn't want you to do that. That's why there's so many different trees and fish and you name it. So one, it never was, I heard it, I read it, studied it, got some little numbers, letters behind my name, all that. But we didn't tolerate white folks. Do you understand me? A white boy couldn't come in our presence with that foolishness because he gets stumped out. There's no inordinate affection for white folks or what they have or who they are. So if you put that on yourself and you embrace that, that's your problem. But every white boy I've ever met or come across will tell you, I ain't nobody to be fooling with. I'll be your friend. We can hang out. Matter of fact, very close, loving relationships with godparents of my brother who were white and things of that nature. We didn't have these issues because we set records straight. Simply because of racism and what racism was doing to other folks, we wasn't going to allow it to do that to us. So even in my church, we were taught better than that.
But let me ask you this question, Leonard. In what you're saying, I want to go to Landon because Don W. He don't wave me off, so I don't know whether he want me to come to him or not. But my thing, I understand what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying wholeheartedly. But at the same time, that does not mean that inside of your circle, maybe that's the reality. But there's a whole nother world out there outside of your circle.
Exactly. However, say for instance, I met Don, and somebody introduced Don to me, and we kicking it, and Don sitting next to me, and he started espousing some of the views that I hear about white folks. He'd have to leave because I'm not going to tolerate an inferior Negro around me. You understand?
See, and that's the part.
You can't run with me. You can't run with me. You can't walk next to me with that attitude. Period. You're filth. You're trash. Why am I associate with you? You don't think no more better of yourself? You sitting on there waiting for that white wicked devil to give you some value? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We love who loves us. Whether you be black, white, blue, brown, it don't matter to us. If you come in peace and love, we accept you in peace and love, regardless of your skin color. But now when you bring offense, we give you offense. We push you away. You are not welcome. I've stood alone by myself, but I'm the only black person there and defended myself with these issues. That's why white folk don't try me. See, you'll sit at a table and a white folk man look at you and look you in the eye and he probably figure he can get over on you. Because you'll lower your head, you will look away, you will do this. No, I look at him and let him know we both bleeding. I'll kill you right here at this table if you start some mess. Period. Don't bring it to me. That's how you have to be. If you don't tolerate it, you won't have to deal with it. But see, if you sit there and constantly reinforce this negativity and just downright damn lies, what type of man are you going to be? But a weak one, or one that can't be depended on, or one that cannot be trusted, or one that'll turn your own brother in? No, not around me. I represent, I honor the boys that carry the rag and believe the rag before I believe in you, weak black man. At least he into that blue rag. At least he into that red rag. At least he stand on something.
What you looking around here, looking around worried about what a white man think about you for? What? He put food on your table, clothes on your back. Is he your God? Oh, now we got a problem.
Okay, now I got kicked out for a second, man, and I missed a part of what's going on. What was said there? What did I miss?
And I've been around too long, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has never taught this way. So I don't understand why some brothers would walk around with their head hung low, believing that they would be inferior.
What see, and that's my thing, but it has nothing to do with inferior. Nobody feels.
I understand about what you read, what you heard, but if you believe your soul,
my thing is this right here. Nobody feel inferior to anybody. Black,
you just
white,
said
no.
Yeah, give us an example of what you mean by that inferior that you speak of.
You just said it was something I see even in the comments about the subconscious and all that and blah blah. Your subconscious ain't got nothing to do with your color.
Let me clear some. You say I said that?
No, he's talking about what I put in there.
No, this notion that every black man somehow feels inferior.
Now, where the inferior come in at?
That's what I heard.
Who said that? I don't know who said that.
That there was some type of inferiority, whether you choose to accept it or not, that it's somehow deep in your subconscious because you're here in America and the racism, somehow you're inferior.
But my thing is, I don't, and see, I'm gonna let him speak for himself. He's an elder, so he can certainly speak for himself. But from where I'm sitting, it has nothing to do with inferiority. We're not saying that we feel inferior to anybody. Ain't no man, black, white, orange, or polka dot, or whatever it is, gonna make me feel inferior to him. And I think I heard you say something about look a man, and I'm looking straight at this. I look through him. Because
I want to make sure we on the same page, because I would hate for a brother to be weak around here.
No, ain't no weak brothers in here. We don't make them in here. But
we get you right real fast.
See what I'm thinking that I'm thinking that. Go ahead and speak.
Okay, since I made the statement. Okay, I made the statement about what is reality. I hear what you're saying, Leonard. But there's a difference between what you've been taught or retaught in your ideology, whatever that stream is, and everybody has not been either taught or retaught that. A lot of these things are actualized in your own. You have to come to conclusions about this thing. You have probably studied a body of ideology where you've been retaught. The average black man has not been taught that way. And just because he's not been taught that way doesn't mean he's worthless, worthwhile, or somebody not to be tolerated with. That doesn't make sense.
This is the spirit of God.
Part of our doing is, I think, is trying to help uplift. And you can't uplift until you be able to understand, talk about, move from there. But just because a person has a negative mentality and even an inferiority mentality, I don't. But just because somebody does, we have to be able to teach rather than to. It's not like, how in the world can you feel that way? Well, all you got to do is live in the United States. That's how you feel that way. I got to look at TV, look at the media, look at people. Look who's the richest people in the country. All you got to do is be in America, and that stuff is real. That's real to me.
And I guess you're right, because one, we were not taught to live that way. So I don't, and I never have. And it was a revelation from God as a child. I've been raised in hell since I come out. So I don't know anything other than this. I'm looking at beautiful brothers right now doing and living and breathing and living life to the fullest. That's what I like to see. Now, we used to have classes and stuff that you could go to, like when you join church and you learn stewardship and all those things, like you said, to be retaught for those people who, for some reason, may not feel this way or have a desire to feel this way. I can't promise you that, but I will get you on the right path, because it is so sad. I mean, I can't think anything worse.
Let me go to Landon. Landon been listening in for a minute, brother. We asking the question, man, what is a black man? Landon, unmute yourself, brother. Good evening. Tell everybody where you're hailing from.
Hey, peace, Kings. I'm Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. What is a black man?
A black man is many things, multidimensional. Man, that's a loaded question. I don't know where to start.
Don't worry about being wrong. Start from
It's
there.
Yeah.
it's I do know um that it first started with understanding what being black is, and I heard Brother Leonard, I want to be just like you when I grow up, Brother Leonard. He was speaking about how he wasn't raised a certain way, and then of course the elder was saying how most black people, young men, women aren't raised that way, the same way Leonard was. And I see a lot of truth in that because where I come from and also my own upbringing, I wasn't raised that way. And my ex fiance used to always tell me I always relate stuff to slavery, but it's a reality. A lot that terminology, that thought, the ideology comes from slavery. Because and not from a necessarily a being scared standpoint or just a feeling inferior standpoint, but it was from a protection standpoint. Mothers and fathers taught their children to act and behave a certain way in the presence of white people so that they would be protected, quote unquote, right? And these things get passed down. Mind you, slavery wasn't that long ago. People think that, oh, it was just so long ago, and it's just nah. All of those things still live and breathe with us every day as a people, unless we're taught different, like you were, Brother Leonard. Say all that to say, a black man is many things. Some black men do feel like they are inferior because of how they were raised. Some black men are fierce because of how they were raised. And don't stop them from being black or a man. It's just the reality of their perspective of the way that they grew up and the way that they were raised. Now, can that change? Can a young man or a woman that was raised a certain way to not necessarily be inferior, but to show a little bit too much respect, a little bit too much restraint? You know what I'm saying? Because that thing only goes so far until it click. Like, hold up, now I'm being a little bit too nice to Sally and John. Eventually, as you grow and mature, and hopefully, we do grow and mature, because not every grown man is a grown man, every grown woman is a grown woman. But hopefully, as you grow and mature, you do grow into a young black man or a young black woman that does stand up for themselves, that doesn't bow or cower in the presence of anybody, to be honest, but especially, a white counterpart, because we are all human at the end of the day. And like y'all said, I'm looking right through you. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to look at you in your eye.
Exactly. Right there in your eye, through your eye. Well, don't make no difference. Rico, talk to me, brother.
See, we would be in a bad place to ignore the subconscious programming that went on. Don't too many people understand how it was to have to make sure you didn't look at a white woman so you wouldn't be lynched. That atmosphere existed. Somebody had to make sure that they wasn't gonna get snatched up, even if they would. Even they may not even look at a tree close to a white woman 20 feet away from it. Don't even look in her direction. Down. That atmosphere existed. That's the black experience. That was passed down from people that witnessed that and saw that. And they said, you know what? Boy, don't you look at them like that. Just like it was passed down to the little white boy that was told, don't play with them niggers. Hey. They didn't know no better. It's the atmosphere that existed. So now we know for a fact that the subconscious programming that some people can't understand that exists in the inferiority. Sometimes people are sellouts and they don't even know it. You know what? I mean, it's been times in the past I thought about things I said and did, and I was like, man, you know what, man? I really was making myself look bad. You have to just really look at what you embrace, what you value, what you desire, and your thought process is what you believe in. And then find out that what you believe in really doesn't benefit you. Some people vote in parties that don't benefit them. And we get mad at them because they're conservative and get passionate and dog them out. But this thing is that it exists. We don't want to acknowledge that some people subconsciously feel inferior and don't even realize it. But then we have actual on hand with visual studies showing little black girls choosing little white dogs.
You know,
They
it's so
don't gotta
funny.
tell them.
I want to piggyback off what Rico saying, if I may.
Okay, hold on for a second. We got somebody that just came into the room. Let me get him into the conversation. Then we're gonna circle back around and get everybody. Captain, good evening. How you doing?
I won't finish.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Oh, no. I thought you were done. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought, brother.
See, people prefer what's favorable to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what human beings do. Black, white, Chinese, yellow, green, red, whatever color you can come up with, they're gonna choose what's favorable to them. And what looked favorable to those little black girls picking those white dolls was the white doll. The black girl, the black doll didn't look too favorable. It didn't look too positive to them. It didn't look too inviting. That ain't what they wanted to attain to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They probably wouldn't talk that at home. But guess what they saw on TV? Farrah Fawcett running on the beach and Wonder Woman and, you know what I'm saying, James Dean and Elvis Presley rocking his hips, singing songs that black people sang even better, but they can't even be on TV with it. So they might need to start singing like the white folks. Subconsciously, you sell it out. But you don't know it because you just want to achieve and accomplish greatness and success in their system that you love.
Good deal. Captain, we're asking a question. We're having a conversation right now. We definitely want to hear your input on it. But what is a black man?
Black man is God. Just that simple. Look at back. I got to explain that a little bit more better, right? Okay. Well, let me say this. Our brothers from the Moorish science, they do not accept the term black. They don't say that we are black men. They don't even accept that term.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to say is that we're not black because of our color. We're black because we come out of the darkness of the womb of our mothers. We're black because the universe is black, and the only reason that the universe is lit up is by the sun. But everything that comes into existence has to come out of darkness. And if we had to give darkness a color, if we close our eyes and we say, what do we see? We see nothing but blackness. So blackness is not the essence of the black man. Blackness is the essence by which the black man was created. So on that, what is a black man? I say the black man is the original man. We are the first. I heard my brother speaking. But we have to stop letting people define who we are and what we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are no longer slaves. At least we're not. We shouldn't be slaves.
Exactly.
We continue to try to operate as a black man in the white man's world. Why? Because we refuse to create our own. I don't even like the fact that here we are, 400 and maybe 60 years, 70 years of so-called journey here in America, and we don't even own a corner. We don't own a supermarket. If we got a toothpick in our mouth, we don't even own the tree that the toothpick comes from. It's very difficult for us to talk and spend our time about the white man. And we don't spend our time talking about what we have not done as men. If I ask every brother on this Zoom, give me the definition of a man, not a black man, give me the definition of a man. Every brother would give us a definition, and some of the definition would be right on point. Maybe one brother said the definition of a man is one who accepts responsibility. Bingo, okay. Maybe another brother would say a man is one who protects, provides. Okay. Another one may say a man is one who sustains and creates. Okay. We all can say that's the definition of a man. But the question is, are we living up to that definition? Are we maintaining our women? Protecting our women? Some of us. Are we maintaining, sustaining, and providing for our women and our children? Some of us. You got grown men, 40 years old, living in the basement of their mother. How could he call himself a man? And I'm a provider. And I like to say this with all humility and respect. My wife don't pay no bills. That's the truth. That is the truth. Mm-hmm. She don't even go to the mailbox and get the mail because there ain't nothing in her name. That is the truth.
That is the truth.
I believe in order for me to be the man of my household, you got to pay the cost to be the boss.
Got to.
I pay the rent, the gas, I take care of everything. My wife works. When she get her little check, guess what she do with it? Go on, baby, get your nails done. Get your toes done, baby. Go on and buy you some of that Asian hair. I take great pride. I take great pride.
Mm-hmm.
I take great pride. Don't act like them women. Your women ain't getting no hair, brother. Just leave that alone, brother.
Okay, leave it right there. Okay.
Leave that alone. Leave that alone. Don't even go there. That's a very sensitive subject when it comes to them women. That daggone hair.
And ain't nobody cared nothing about me, Captain, when I went bald. Not a sympathy card. Nothing.
Not what? Hey, look at you. Better not grab it when you're in the bedroom with it. Don't touch my head, nigga. Now don't you touch my head. But the bottom line, brothers, I truly believe we have to step up and ask ourselves, are we men? Let's leave the word black off of it. Are we men? If we fall short as men, then forget about the black man stuff.
Forget about all that.
We have to be able to provide, my dear brothers, all around America. If you look at the black community lack, listen to me, lack men. 60, 70%, 80% of the homes that our little young brothers come from have no man in the home. It is women that are the ones that is dominant in the home. Then if the women is dominant in the home, what role do we play? How could we ever tell them little young brothers out there on the street how to be a man when they never seen one? How can we tell them that they need a man up and we as grown men walking around sagging with our drawers showing? How could we be an example for them when they see us running from our responsibility and we got to get the white men to chase some of our brothers down to get child support of children that they brought into this world? So we got a lot of issues, in my humble opinion, that I'm looking at these beautiful brothers on this Zoom. Look at the brothers on this Zoom. If we could put aside our religious differences, our political differences, our social differences, our racial differences, and put aside your sport differences, do you know what we can do? And most of all, put aside our egos. And come together and look here and find the best brother on this Zoom and be willing to get behind him because he's the most knowledgeable one to be able to do X, Y, and Z. But no, that ain't us. Well, who made him the leader? Why he got to be the leader? And see, I don't like it because see, I don't like that guy Leonard. See, he's too militant, man. See, why can't we see we'll fight that guy Muhammad? He's a Muslim. See, I'm not down with the Muslim thing, man. You know, see, I like to eat pork, and them niggas don't eat pork. See, I'm gonna have a problem right there. Chris said, man, he ain't with my Jesus. I don't like that Mohammed guy. See, well, listen, man, I'm with the Cavaliers. With them niggas here, I'm sitting there with the Dallas Cowboys. I have a problem with them niggas in Ohio. We will find 50 million. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. See, I'm not black, man. See, my mama was white, and I'm mixed. See, I'm a white, racial bias. See, I'm gay. I don't like to be with it because I'm gay. Or I'm straight. We will find every reason. Not to come together. And when we can put aside all those little things, I heard the minister say, it ain't what somebody call you, it's what you answer to.
Come on.
Exactly.
Answering to madness that does not reflect us. We spend a whole lot of time, my dear brothers, I love you, God knows. You know why? Because I see us going up. And the scripture said, God gonna put us on top in spite of. In spite of what you think about yourself, he's gonna put us on top anyway. So the scripture say he would take the bottom rail and make it the top. He would take the last and make it the first. Well, if he say that, we always been last, so that means we must be first now.
Preach,
brothers. Oh, this is wonderful.
Hey, Raheem.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you for indulging me, brothers.
Before we go too far, Man, I love Brother Dennis. Ain't never met him nowhere but here. It's because this is how I was raised, man. I mean, it ain't rocket science to me, but I want to show you this before we get away from it.
Okay.
See that? Can y'all see that?
Oh, yeah.
Why y'all think I got this? I've been buying Barbies for a minute. Giving them my little goddaughter. So she'd know the difference. So she wouldn't have. I heard about that story people told about the test and watched that test from all that time ago.
That's right.
But see, all of us ain't fall for that foolishness. So see, the reason why we sitting around here jaw jacking and everything now is because your kid's somewhere in somebody else's house. I don't care what go on. Wherever I plant my seed, I got to be there. Now I know we've all done things or what have you, but you can get it right today. You ain't got to wait not another minute. All this talk about white folks. I remember somebody was telling me my cousins are from the South. And I guess they had come and we went out and the white girls was all this, that, and the other, and they was kind of scared. And so, and I heard about, well, we can't do that. That looking at a white man. I'm kidding about no white woman. They're a dime a dozen. Here go 25 cents. Enjoy yourself. You understand? Don't these. Every time somebody tried to tell me one thing, I went and tried it. And guess what? They were a liar. They were a liar. Because you can't sit there. I'm not going to sit here and look at beautiful brothers and then put us down like we ain't nothing. Never have, never will. Can't do it.
Exactly.
Won't do it. If you're a man, you just a man with a problem. A man made a mistake. You're a man that can get it right today. The honorable minister has taught this. And if you wanted to listen, it's always been free. You ain't had to pay for it or nothing. But as the word would say, obedience is better than sacrifice.
Stay right there, Leonard. Stay right there, Leonard. What's on your heart, brother? You had your hand up like you had to say something a minute ago, brother. I come to you, and now you shake your head like, yo, wait. Now you shake your head. I don't understand what that means, brother.
I mean, it's all been said.
All the black Cabbage Patch Kids. I
do want to say, though, the knowledge that Dennis and brother Leonard have, and like me and Rico was speaking about earlier about mentality, and it's not just mentality in a sense of we choose to grow up or think this way. It's a systematic thing. It's propaganda. It's things that unfortunately we are exposed to, and there is no buffer. I want you to understand what I'm saying when I say there's no buffer. There is no Leonard in my household, in my family. So forget the household, just where you grow up at. I mean, I'm talking about a whole generation or generations.
Are you saying that certain individuals are programmed a certain way, and so they can't get themselves out of that system? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Is a program?
Not certain individuals. The whole world. The whole world is a program. Yeah.
We are under a spell.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, what I'm talking about is the part about the black man and the black individual not being able to do certain things because there's certain individuals that's superior, and you didn't say superior. I know you didn't, but that mindset is that rapid?
It's propaganda, it's mind control, it's programming, and it has always been done. So I know we like not that we like to think. I shouldn't say we like to think, because we are black. We identify with it happening to black people, but it happened to the Asians, it happened to the Irish. It has happened to everyone in every race. It happened with the Greeks. It happened with the Africans. Just if you pay attention to history, you understand how the world is. Blacks aren't just treated wrong in this country, in the USA. It was just a black soccer player that got harassed and had dolls with nooses around his neck hung up in Brazil. It happens all around the world because this is the propaganda and the mind control that they have taught to see us in. I say all that to say, we very much so need the Leonards and the Dennises to stand up in our families, because I can vouch for my own generations to come in my for my family in Memphis. I've never heard talk like that before from any man in my family for generations to come. Do you hear what I'm saying? Multiple generations. I've never heard that before.
Okay. let me do this, and Rico, I'm gonna come to you with this. Do you think it's more of, because I know that you live up north and down south? Is it more of a southern type mentality, or is when you was up north, New York, places of that, was it the same way up there too?
Yeah, it's more down here. It's an
Mm-hmm.
access and an exposure thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But you do have to understand, like the brother just said, that programming from the
Mm-hmm.
propaganda. You know, people were broken. You know, they broke men to make sure that they kept control and order, to put fear in people, and that transferred down to those men that were broken,
Mm.
telling their sons everything they needed to do to not be raped in front of their daughters. So,
Mm.
you know, we have to acknowledge an atmosphere that existed that makes people subconsciously, I'm going to repeat that, subconsciously conform to a way that's unnatural. We have to, you see, this is the thing about it. Everything everybody is saying is true, and it is a shame for a man to feel inferior, even if, especially when he doesn't even realize he's acting like that.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even realize he's bowing down and being submissive or passive when certain people come around. You be like, man, why you shut up? Or why you stop talking when he came in here? Why you start walking and acting different? Why you lose your hood talking, start talking proper?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to conform. They're trying to change because, you know what I'm saying, they feel somewhat inferior, and they might not even realize they do that. But if that was not that situation for us to acknowledge, then Louis Farrakhan wouldn't have nobody to wake up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's
See,
good.
that's the reason why we acknowledge that and bring it up. So no matter how fed up and frustrated we get and how passionate we get at condemning what's going on, we have to understand that there is an atmosphere that exists. And the reason why it exists, it might be beyond our control. But once we realize that atmosphere and acknowledge it, even though the white dog might not be in my home or the black dog might not be in my home, it's in somebody's home affecting them.
Mm-hmm.
And they missing it. Like Captain Dennis said, there's a lot of homes missing that man. And the man that they're getting is a man that the new society has told them a woman should have. The dope boy that's acceptable now. The pimp that's acceptable now. The bad guy. Whatever, by any means necessary. That money over everything. Just think about the culture that we embrace now that eliminates the integrity and honor of a man, that everything that everybody's saying that it takes to be a man. That's being eliminated because those things aren't qualifications no more. All you got to do is have money and you know something.
Mm-hmm.
You got access and exposure that everybody else ain't got now. All you got to do is make the money, get off your butt and hustle. But you ain't got to stamp for nothing, in no integrity. Just go where the money go. Well, most of the time when you go where the money go, you have to go where the people that have the money that might not look like you. You might start having to conform and act like them. Now here it is again. You're selling out and you don't even realize it because you love that money.
Go ahead.
You love success. So to a certain extent, we have to acknowledge that energy exists to a point to where subconsciously we don't even realize that is underneath the surface.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Elder. Elder, you are the elder in the group right now. So is it a generational type thing? Was it worse as you was coming up, or has it gotten better?
I think it was worse at points. Then it got better, but I think our society is, we tend to move kind of back. We're moving a little back, but it's the thing that it's been around a long time. I think that there are more people who are on both sides, let's just say black and white, aligning themselves with the reality of the fact that we are brothers. We are brothers, black, white, otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And though there are more of them that are stepping out and saying so, but there are also more of those who have always felt that we were not brothers who are saying so as loudly. I think, for me personally, and I can't speak for anybody else, despite the tragedy of George Floyd's death, the cruelty of his death, and the circumstances around it, the wave of support throughout the country, throughout the world, was you know, something I've never seen before. A lot of people say, you know, to see people walking hand in hand in support of the fact this person was a man. He was a black man, but he was a man. That's because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to humanize whatever black man is. We're trying to humanize that. It's human to many of us, but it's inhuman to others. You know, I'm not talking on the thing here, but I'm talking about in the world, people in the world. You know, and so I think we have to look at that and try to say, well, okay, where are we going? Are we doing better? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. I think from my little standpoint, it's going to be a perennial problem. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue. But if we can, the only thing that's going to overcome it is love. And this is not a passivity that I'm talking about. It's not a. It's a biblical kind of love where truth is spoken to power, truth is spoken to individuals, truth is spoken to racial and interracially. Truth is spoken. You know, one of my truths is I grew up, and I'll just be totally honest. I've said this before. My daddy couldn't stand nobody white. Okay, so I grew up with that.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, he really did. I mean, okay, I'm serious. But I didn't have to deal with it because I was going through from kindergarten all the way through high school. You know, totally black. The only thing white came over our school was the nurse. She came over to give us a shot of. But that's what I grew up with. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because I grew up in the late '60s, I was transitioning to college in the late '60s, early '70s, where the whole nation was changing, where the culture was changing all over, where there was more acceptance, affinity coming together. You see what I'm saying? Then I got a chance to see that everybody white was not bad. Because I really, in my mind, other than the people I saw on TV, I Love Lucy and Broderick Crawford and all of them, that was my entertainment, okay? We never thought about, we didn't think about them as white in the same sense. You see what I'm saying?
Your Ed Sullivans and people like that.
Ed Sullivans, yeah. But when you have to deal with, but we knew people who were peripheral to our community that were racist and that kind of thing, and had those mentalities.
Exactly.
But I never, as a person, felt inferior to a white person.
Yeah.
In fact, I came up in an era where, which is another side of kind of racism and inferiority, trying to prove that I was not inferior. Now you got a whole group of that. Let's talk about this thing. The black psyche in this country is really something now.
Yeah,
it is not that cut and dry.
Exactly. Don W. Unmute yourself, brother. Come on.
Oh, man. Yeah. Hey, that is a lot to digest for sure. And like Don said, it's not cut and dry. So I just feel like there's a certain level of history that you kind of come into as you live, and then there's a certain level of who are you going to be and what are you going to identify. Like somebody said earlier, what do you respond to? So for me personally, and me and Rico was kind of chatting about this in the chat, you have that survival, people have a survival mentality. The reality of it is, how are you going to feed your family? How are you going to, survive? How are you going to, house yourself? You know what I mean? Like we grew up in a society to where, or I knew during my time, it was, I witnessed people, getting kicked out of house for being disrespectful to their parents or whatever. I saw a lot of, drug dealing going on and stuff like that. And it was in the Black community, so, I guess like I said earlier, the pillar of, I guess, what was, close to righteous or just and successful for me was people that I saw in church, and they would always say, oh, you got the knuckleheads and you got the good kids. I always wanted to be identified as a good kid. So that was kind of one of the justifications there. I had my father growing up. I'm very proud of my father. He did a great job raising me, I feel. I've sought his approval And and I just think that that's what a child does, and it opens the door to learn something from your lineage there. So a lot of hatred, a lot of bigotry is learned ignorance, and a lot of looking for acceptance in society, that is also learned. Who's to say it's right or wrong? It's the result that really drives the bottom line. Where are you in life? What did you have to go through? Were you locked up? Were you in a fight that got stabbed that derailed your life? Where are you basically happy? Are you happy with how your life turned out? Are you happy that when you get pulled over, you have an anxiety attack because the cops are behind you? Are you happy that as you were coming up, the highest thing that you thought you could be was working at a factory or a plant? Are you happy with it? And it becomes a thing of breaking down those walls and learning and truly trying to, and that's just something that's built inside you. If God put that in you to push for more, then that's what you're going to do. Some people see that, and some people are content with just surviving. And, like I said, like we all talked about finding a leader and pushing that motor forward. But I will say it's a big system that we have out here that we're facing. And they have an education system, they have politics, they have their own religion, they have many of those things that you have to develop. And it's nice that we all can sit here and talk on this platform, but and there are little of separation of things that can help. But like one of our elders said earlier, until we come together and put all those differences aside and be able to create something that can be self-sustaining, that can be a pillar to our group, no one else is going to buy into it. If we can't put aside those differences, and it's very hard to, like, who wants to be the boss, who wants to drive it, why does he, all of that stuff, like, until something is like that, I'm, Rico, you can't hate me for it. I'm happy with learning the game and working inside of the game. Like the NBA, you can learn the game, and some people don't play fair, but you all play by the same rules. Some people know how to manipulate it, some people know how to hide their hand, but you are playing the same game. And look at the NCAA, look at like some of the up and coming entities that are putting certain things in place, like black banks recently. Like that is a construct that comes out of, like, hey, it'd be nice to have our own. It'd be nice to be able to say, hey, there is a real issue with people getting approved for low interest rate during this time. And you look at a bank like Wells Fargo, who has a higher disapproval rate in the black community for refinancing their loans, and that would save them a tremendous amount of money. And that's why those things are being created. So hopefully, this sparks that kind of conversation where things can pop up, but they're popping up individually. They're not collectively. So they don't have a lot of momentum. So you won't see it all happen in one generation. Just like honestly, like I said, it's all the same game. The white people didn't do this overnight. They seized opportunities. They're like, all right, I'm going to bring in, how can I brainwash this? How can I build that? How can I destroy this? How can I, you have to break you down and build you back up to believe in something. And it ain't all black or white. But again, if the goal is to be on our own, know what you're up against and build towards that and be willing to build together, that's how you're going to be able to beat it all. But I mean, I'm content with what's here, and I will develop and support equality for my people and everybody in general. But I'm not going to show, I'm not going to, create something that is going to disenfranchise our people. You know what I mean? Whereas some people, they're okay with buying into a system that disenfranchises us, So
let me ask this question, Captain. How much of the non-progressiveness is fear?
Well, brothers brought out some very, very, very solid points. We have a lesson It's called English C lesson number 1. And it says, why do our people like the devil? And the answer is because the devil gives him nothing. And the next question is, well, what do you mean the devil give him nothing? Well, he put fear in him when he was a little boy. And then the answer to the question says, why do he fear now that he says he's a big man? Because he taught him to eat the wrong food. Well, what does that mean? It made him other than himself. Well, what is his own self? His own self is a righteous Muslim. Now, that's our lesson. And let me just break it down. When we were on the slave plantation, my man talked about buck breaking. When any slave, black slave, showed any gumption to stand up against the slave master, they had to make an example out of him to the other slaves. So they would tie one arm to a horse, tie the other arm to the horse, hit the horse, and they watched him pull his arms out. Many, many, many cruel things to keep fear in us, to never want to come out of slavery. Fear. So when I look at what brothers have been saying, it is very clear that we the only people that we can't have total allegiance to one another when the very foundation of spiritual growth and development comes out of the church, and we got more churches in the black community than we got businesses. You won't find that in the Jewish community. The Jewish community have one synagogue, one, listen to me. So they all come under one school of thought, not many divisions, Baptist, AME, First Baptist, Pentecost, and Church of God in Christ. See, we can never come together. Even if we family members, I'm a Baptist, well, I'm a Muslim, we can't even come together because religion has divided us. We have allowed, listen, when they went into Africa, everybody knew this. The first thing they did to conquer Africa, who did they send in? Did they send in the missionaries or the mercenaries? They sent in the missionaries first.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
They sent in the religious people first. Right after the missionaries came the mercenaries. They knew that the first way to conquer the people is to conquer them in the name of God. That's what Antioch did. The cross, Constantine. It was a cross represent war. It didn't represent Jesus. So when you know your history, then you know, man, that the cross was never what Jesus was about. Jesus wasn't about the cross. He died on the thing. Jesus' whole symbol was the fish. It was never the cross. The cross represents suffering. The cross represents slavery. But how would you walk around and your brother was shot and killed and you wear the bullet around your neck? What kind of stuff is that? Why would you wear the very emblem that the Christ died on? So the Bible said, one day I'm going to give up that old rugged cross. For what? A starry crown. Jesus used to say, don't look at my cross, look in the corner. And you pick up your cross and come follow me. What cross represents hardship. Cross represents struggle. So when we look at our condition as a people, we're so divided by religion. Religion have done more to divide us than any kind of racism in the world. And let me tell you, there's a difference between being religious and spiritual. Black people are spiritual. Religion represents something that man put together. But every one of us is spiritual. That's why when we talk God, I don't care, I'm a Muslim. If I talk God, I'm going to inspire Christian because he is inspired by the spiritual word of God, not by the man-made word of God, but by the spiritual feeling of God. So when we talk about, dear brother, we cannot come together? Yes, fear. And let me tell you something, this brother Rico, I know he appreciates this one. You know, we as a people have what you call a slave mentality because for some reason, y'all know this is true. If we came into a whole lot of money overnight, we'll get afraid and think we're going to die. We think we're going to die. We get scared.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth. We get scared because in our mind, we ain't supposed to be successful. In our mind, we ain't supposed to be rich. In our mind, we ain't supposed to be able to rise above our mind. So we get scared. They're going to kill me. I'm going to die. That's that old. This member of Carter G. Woodson said that the slave was so used to coming through the back door, and if he didn't have a back door, he would make a back door. Now, y'all know down in the South, listen to me, be honest. All down in the South, even in your mama's house, you had to come through what? The back door. If you didn't come through the back door, you had to come through the side door. Very seldom, I'm telling you, my mama always we had a back door. You ain't never came through the front door through the living room. No, you ain't tramping no grass up in here, brother. No, you're not. So you came through the side door or the back. Well, that's because of slavery. We was always taught to come through the back door. We have to get away. Every one of us is absolutely damaged goods. Yeah, brother Dennis, I got to admit, I'm damaged goods, man. I ain't got no problem saying that. At least I recognize it.
Yeah.
But you know what we're suffering from? We're suffering from self-hatred. Self-hatred. And no brother on here can say he loves himself, because once you love yourself, then you got to love your people. Then you cannot love the condition that you in or your people in. Then you're going to strive to change that condition. And if we don't change it, we die trying. So you first got to love you before you can love others. And then once you love yourself, then you, of course, you love your people. Then once you love your people, then you cannot love the condition your people in. You can't do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I gotta jump in there, brother Leonard. Talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Come on, wake up, Leonard. Wake up over there.
I mean, it's just, I'm so hopeful, much more because our younger people get it. The younger people get it. That's why they getting it. That's why they ain't living in poverty like they used to. None of that. Some of the things that older people try to talk about no longer really apply. Because it make you look like a lie if you tell them they can't do something and they doing it. So if they see a way to get it done and you telling them they can't, which way are they more likely to go? You're not going to preach me down. I don't care what you say.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So when I made the comment, obedience is better than sacrifice. I learned to trust God first. Period. Even I wish my daddy would have lived longer. You know, but he died when I was young. But anyway, they used to tease him because he was a preacher. He said, "Ain't that something? Look at that preacher. But that boy is a witch." There were people that wouldn't even say nothing to me because they said I would put a spell. Because I was very much into witchcraft. And so it was funny because one of the background in the South of my grandmother and all this type of thing, and the folks from the South would tease him a lot. And you just around here just preaching, and that boy loved him some voodoo. And it never was that. It's just that I had read all the books. You know what I'm saying? So my escape from, I think that a lot of you all may have gone through, is I loved reading. And I loved immersing myself in other things than foolishness. No, I ain't got time to be standing around with you drinking and smoking, standing in front of no stove. That don't make sense to me. And I don't like you enough to follow you nowhere.
Now you gonna tell people you don't like them?
Well, I'm just saying, if it don't make sense, I'm usually not involved.
Right.
And if definitely, and there ain't no draws coming, I'm definitely not fooling with it. So I'd much rather be on my own, learning and doing something else, than fooling around with you, standing around waiting to get arrested. Because that's all you're doing. You mess around there, you say one thing, this thing, somebody come down the street and shoot you up. You a fool for being right there after you said what you said to that man. You stood your butt right here, and then the man said he was going down the street, he'd be back. What you think you come back for?
Yeah.
Now you shot up. Because you ain't got no discipline. You just stand around the stove. I don't know if y'all used to do it, but they just stand around the stove. All type of mess break out in front of the stove. Folk been killed on that corner for 20 years, and you take your black behind down there and stand on that corner. You next. So all I had to do was watch bad examples and do the opposite. I wasn't no genius. I just didn't want to end up like the people I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose a different path. And that's all I try to teach other people. Choose this day who you will serve.
Good deal. Good deal. We got less than 30 minutes, so everybody give me your quick version of what we're gonna say because I want to touch as many people as I can. So give me your quick versions. Landon, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Wake up over there, Landon. It's some learning going on here.
That's a working man. That man worked all day, got a little baby, and he about to pass out, but he spared some time for us this evening.
He said he about to pass
out. I know, because I know how he's been doing when he's been on our call before.
Yeah. So he about to pass out. Basically, he on his last leg is what you're saying.
He spit a bar with that one. But man, I always say this to y'all, man. I can't say it enough. I'm never gonna not give y'all flowers about how much I appreciate y'all, how much this is needed. I wish we could do it more often on a bigger platform and reach more people. And I know, Brother Roy, you probably working on something because you always working on something.
Look, what you trying to say on my platform, man? Hold on, man. What you trying to say on my platform? Go ahead, man.
Huh?
I said, what you trying to say about my platform, man? What you trying
to
say
not your platform, meaning reaching more people. I want because when we get into the conversation, like I said about Brother Lennon and Brother Dennis, and me not having anyone in any generation in my family and never hearing stuff like that before. Imagine how many more me's there are out there. You know what I'm saying? Those are the people. Excuse me, that Lennon was talking about earlier when he was saying you can't be around me. Well, it's a lot of people that can't be around you. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't never had that before. I was one of them people that couldn't be around you before I matured and grew up and and learned about myself and about my people. So it's important what you're doing, Brother Ra. You are greatly appreciated, brother. Please don't stop doing it. I appreciate all y'all brothers on here, the knowledge that y'all giving me on a weekly basis. Even when I'm not on here, I be thinking about y'all and I'm like, man, I wish I could be on there, but I have my little girl and she don't like to share her time.
There you go. But see, I'm gonna tell you something, man. To God be the glory, man. It's all him, brother. It's all him. Like I said, if I take the credit for it, I'm getting in the way. So to God be the glory. Don W, what's on your heart, brother?
Shoot, hey, I feel you, Lennon, because man, my little 5-year-old, she's like, hey, you belong here. But no, it's a great platform, man. It's an honor to be up here. Thanks for the invite. This category, this square that you had brought up, man, that's one that shakes some mountains right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean,
we only got to one square. We only got to one square tonight, man. It's about time to go. But we couldn't.
You did that. You made that was I was like, whoo, this was a hot one right here. But I think a lot of wisdom came up, a lot of insight, a lot of different ways of thinking, a lot of different layers to it, man. I mean, I definitely learned something today. Objective, subjective, I think it's just good to hear. So, I support the channel. I will definitely share it. Yeah, man, y'all keep it up. And I love all you guys, and y'all keep doing your thing.
Absolutely. And I want to say something to everybody that's on here, man, and everybody that's listening. We got quite a few people that's actually tuning in right now. Share this particular one. Share this one right here with as many people as you can. Put it on your Facebook, put it on Instagram, whatever you got, man. Just share this one. People need to hear what we were said tonight. People really need to hear it, man. So if y'all don't mind doing it for me, if y'all don't mind doing it for us, share this. Share this one right here. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, this has been a good one, man. I was thinking earlier how he ain't gonna make it to the fourth topic. I think you knew from the topic where too, because I don't even think I heard you say the intro about you have 4 squares. You know what I'm saying? I just remember coming in on the question. But man, Landon said something key, and we have to make sure we are cognizant of that. We have to let people in our environment that might not have access or opportunity to get the things that they need. We are in denial about a lot of things because we are so built on being positive that we can't see the negative, and so we're in denial. And sometimes it might sound like we're conflicting or debating each other, but I'm not. Leonard said some truth in the young generation getting it, but then at the same time, it's completely untrue. I talked to a school teacher today, This one teacher said she had 10 students that she was having investigations done on to try to find out what's going on in their home life. Just one teacher. They ain't got the Leonards. They ain't got the Captain Dennises. These little boys, they about to get lost. These was just little boys. This ain't the little girls that they dealing with. Down in Jacksonville, Florida, they making music about smoking and killing each other ops. You know, the things and the motivations behind people aren't getting the things that we should be getting attention to or giving attention to is not getting the proper attention. These conversations. So we have to reach down and understand, you know, we have to reach back and make a way for those people that's not having it. We can't cut them off. That's the reason why they are where they are. You know, I mean, like Landon said, if you can't come in my presence, then where am I gonna get it? Where am I gonna get it from if I can't come in your presence? You know, we talked earlier about what's going on in the school system and what's happening with children. I know from when I was in school that the teachers gave more attention to students that made their job easier because they could go ahead and move on up the work ladder with them and move to the next subject. And if it took too long for you to catch on, maybe you didn't have parents at home that worked with you. If it took too long for you to catch on, you just had to suck up that bad grade and struggle. Teacher ain't have enough time to give you one-on-one time. She got 12 other students that's struggling. But the ones that's getting it, they're going to help her make her job. She's going to keep on making her bonuses. So she got to give them attention. So it's people being left behind because we are in denial of the fact that everybody ain't getting it.
Exactly. Man, we covered excuse me, we covered so much tonight, man. Let me go to Elder. Elder, what's on your heart? Captain Dennis, coming to you next.
Well, I just want to say that as we started our subject talking about the black man,
yes, sir,
that the black man is despite his individual awareness of who he is in essence who he is from his heritage, and that he's on a journey. Each of us, each of us is on a journey trying to figure out how who I am can benefit somebody else, and particularly those who are like me, and maybe those who are not like me, but primarily because I am who I am for a purpose, to reach somebody for God. And I think that's part of what we're trying to do is understand who we are, to be able to see how that fits in the whole scheme of touching somebody else's life. That's the most important to me.
Absolutely. Captain Dennis?
Well, let me say this. I love what everyone said, and I'm so honored to be among such great brothers as the men that I'm looking at. The black man is the original man. I think the word original supersedes the color black. If the black man is the original man, that means all life that came into existence had to come into existence by us. Being original means being the first. I don't think there's not a scholar in the world that can disagree that we are the original people of this planet. I think we need to embrace that and stop trying to justify why we're not, in order not to defend other people who have not come through the experience that we've come through. Let's stop apologizing for who we are and what we are. Accept the fact that we are the original people. Accept the fact that we could produce all colors and white people can't only produce white people. Stop denying who you are and what you are. When the Bible opens up in the book of Genesis and it says God made man in his image and after his likeness, he was talking about us. So when I say the black man is God, he's not the God. Let's make that perfectly clear. He's a God. If my Father, who art in heaven, how be his name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Woo! As it is in heaven. So if he's our Father, if God is our Father, then what can a father produce but himself and us? So I want to say to my brothers, as Brother Rico talked about the education, Jewish people do not let Germans teach their children. I'm going to say that again. Jewish people do not let Germans teach their children. We the only people that allow our oppressors to teach our children, and you wonder why we're in the condition we're in. If a person would not treat you right, will they teach you right? I'm going to say that again. If a people would not treat you right, would you think they would teach you right? So the educational system was never designed for us to be masters of our own destinies, but servants of the master. And that's why when you get a master degree, you ain't a master of nothing. You get a master degree and you go to them for a job. Look at that madness. And they give you one of them BS degrees. That's exactly what it is. Not a Bachelor of Science, but it's the other thing. When we can treat, when we can
some of
start
them with
creating,
the biggest companies don't even have a degree. They done dropped out.
And when we can start creating our own educational system that teaches our babies the knowledge of themselves, teach our babies of their history, then we'll begin to produce the kind of children that can overcome the obstacles that this world. And remember this, dear brothers, a people's determination to get out the barrel is not as great as the person's determination to keep you in the barrel. And every now and then want to get out. Obama. Every now and then want to get out. Harris. Every now and then we get one of them to get out. The sad thing about it, they have to get somebody that look other than their color to help them get through a system that accept biracial but won't accept totally black. So I'm saying to our brothers, this platform is a great, and we have to do it all the time, because I listen to Brother Leonard. He teach me something. I listen to Brother Rico. He teach me. I listen to the past. I mean, our elder. Man, every one of you taught me something today. I thank you for using my name and said I can give you something. But hell, you gave me something too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brothers. May God bless us.
Amen. Amen. Man, I don't know where to go, man. We only got like about 13 minutes. Let me go to Don W. Don W, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh man, hey, you got me like a towel, right? It's like, you know, I aspire to definitely cultivate, personal business in general, and it's going to be something that develops something that could help my family, right? And somebody said earlier, your family is an extension of love, and if you love yourself, you love your family, you love everyone else, and hopefully that's something that spirals on to become bigger than what it is. It's in the works, and I'm looking forward to that, being able to uplift some of the community. It boils down to a matter of choice. We talked about education, and we live in a very fast-paced world right now. A lot of education is being short bits on social media here and there in the news, and whatever you can grab from YouTube and whatnot. It's what you can create and keep on moving. I just won't sacrifice what I have to bring someone else up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't teach somebody to swim if you don't know how to swim. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, you can't kill yourself trying to save somebody else. I mean, that's one life for another. It balance out. It doesn't make sense. So I have to build myself up, and that's what I'm doing. And hopefully that inspires other people to follow suit. Like, we see so many strong people up here, and they're well built, and that inspires people. Like, how can I be knowledgeable? How can I be confident like that? And I'm in that walk right now. And I take my walk, my journey, from the inspiration that I gather from, people like you, people that I get around. So I will say to anybody that's listening, don't be afraid to learn from all types of sources, all types of people. That's where you're going to get the most well-rounded picture. and to be able to develop and create. So I thank you all for your insights again. And to those who listening, keep on learning, challenge what you hear, don't take words and go with it, challenge it, test it, and apply what's fruitful to you.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, quick question for you. How can 10 broke people prosper?
Oh man, they can't prosper unless they learn to create something prosperous.
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly.
I like what Don W just said though about being well rounded, man. When I was young, I sort of made a decision to leave from a majority black school to go to a majority white school. And it benefited me because I was able to learn beneath the surface in real time what really went on behind the scenes. And it helped me so much because now I can maneuver in any community you put me in. I could succeed in the community. You could get me around a bunch of intelligent people, well-educated people with degrees, and I could fit right in. You could get me with attorneys, I could fit right in. You could put me with some dope boys or some killers, I could fit right in. It's a matter of what you choose to fit into. Sometimes you have to reach back and give back. So Don W's walk is in excellence. At one point in time, that was dominant in our community, that you looked up to the men of the community that excelled in achieving, accomplishing goals. That scenario changed. Now we need more people like Don W also to show how you have your daughter around. Cause listen, man, I envy you in Landon, man. When I see y'all with y'all children, man, oh my God, man. I had 3 of them and didn't have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Not the way that y'all have it. It was such a fight and a struggle to have it. And I see y'all, and I'm like, man, look at that. That's beautiful, man. I'm 49 and I'm still thinking I might have one more woman. Where she at? What Mrs. Wright at? I just want to go through that experience of being a daddy, a real daddy. You get what I'm saying? So, we need more people to open themselves up and make themselves available to those, and not only make themselves available, but look for the people. Because these boys out here that's making these songs talking about smoking their ops ain't just popping up out the blue out of nowhere. And the mamas just sitting back celebrating them and getting the check off of that major record deal that they got that ain't stopping them, ain't just pop up from nowhere either. Somewhere somebody's missing. People like Don W that's on that example. See, he's leading by example. Now the thing is you have some people that don't know where to draw the line, and then they might start becoming the sellout that we speak of, subconsciously not realizing because they done got too caught up in the system. See, sometimes we got to play in the system and maneuver in that system, but still not let the system cast a spell on us to the point where we participate in this ultimate success when really and truly we just trying to drag something out of that corrupt system. Before you know that you ain't careful, you'll be contributing to it. Know the difference.
Yeah, it's just like investment, man. Like
exactly.
you invest, you get your return, and you reinvest until you build your own. And if you can't get it around you, like you got to get it how you can get it, and then you have to understand, like, how can I go and make this sustainable for myself? And that's what education does for you,
Now,
So,
I like what you're saying, Don W. But we got to get out of here, man. You're gonna come at the end of the day, and see what I'm saying. You come without, man. Look here, we got to go, man. Leonard,
you
give me a
said
quick
13 minutes.
It's been 14 and a half. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Give me now wisdom and knowledge that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this thy people that is so great? And God said to Solomon, because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked for riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet hast asked long life, but hast asked for wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people over whom I have made thee king. If you're going to be a king, you need to find out what kings do. Stop claiming being the king and don't know nothing about it. Go find out, brother. You can do that. And when you do that and establish your house and your standards, Queen Sheba will make a journey to come and see what you are about. Trust me.
So she come to knock on the door?
she'll come see what's going on, because even in her greatness, she'll see that king. She'll be hearing about that king, and she will come and see about that king. So hold your head up. You made some mistakes or what have you, but don't let nobody put you down. I don't care what it is.
Exactly.
Everybody has come a certain way. Trust me.
Now, Leonard.
No, don't stop him. I needed that. That was for me. That was personal.
I learned that lesson as a child.
That was God speaking through him.
Solomon asked for that. And because Solomon asked for that, God gave him more than he could imagine. Stop wanting to be like everybody else and ask God what it is that you want.
Can you give me that scripture, brother, so I can?
That's going to be 2 Chronicles, 1st chapter, 10 through 11. I would advise you read all the Kings and Chronicles and find out what these great men dealt with. Even being king, some of them were horrible, whores, killers, you name it. But they were kings. And God spoke to them as kings.
Preacher. Hey, we're gonna go around the panel right now, give everybody an opportunity, man, to say what they're gonna say. Keep it real brief, man. Cause preacher, he about to go up on the pulpit, brother. He about to go up on the pulpit, brother. That brother, they're about to go. Landon, in your closing, sir.
It's just short and sweet. I appreciate that. I really needed that, brother. Brother Rod, know what I'm going through. I just asked everybody to please pray for my family. But that was greatly appreciated, and I really feel like, for real, God was speaking through you to me. That was the word. That was something that I needed to hear, for real.
Good deal. Don W.
Hey, I'm good. I appreciate it. I thought you was coming back to me to talk some more. You said you had like 1 minute.
No.
I was
this is closing.
You keep on asking for it.
Tell him it's closed, Don. Tell him it's closed.
It's closed. We're good.
Okay, good deal.
No, we're good, man. I love y'all brothers, man. Y'all keep on listening. Stay tuned for greatness. Later.
Let's go to Captain Dennis.
Man, I'm good. Thank you, Brother Leonard. Man, I love that. And as he was showing us, accept your role as a king, man. As he said, we had righteous kings, and we had some wicked kings. But we have to choose what king we're going to be of our castle. Be the king. The scripture talks about the kingdom of God. Well, you got your head, and on your head, that's called the dome. Well, we're sitting inside of your head, king. The kingdom, well, who's ruling in your dome?
Yeah.
Who's sitting in your chair in your dome?
Tell him, Cap.
Right? World and its influence in your dome.
Now, see, now, Cap,
come on, Cap.
I'm sorry, man. You can't do it.
We gotta go. Look, now you know we gotta go.
Blame it on Leonard. Leonard got me inspired like that, man. I'm sorry, brothers. I love you, man. My name's Captain D, and I'm present for peace, brothers. Peace.
Look at now. You know we gotta go. Leonard. Oh Lord, here we go.
Man, I can't help it, because the way that man loves the man. If you understand what Farrakhan has been preaching to the black, you ain't got no other prophet but Elijah Muhammad. I don't care if you don't agree with everything he said. That was the only prophet created for you. At least listen to his message. At least give him that much. You'll find your life will be a lot better off than it was before.
Absolutely. Now, can I move on, Leonard?
Why, sure, Ronnie.
Preacher. Rico. Rico, in your closing, sir.
I want to come back and reiterate, go be kings. And I want to get everybody out here that can, everybody on this panel, to reach out and touch these young men and let them know that they are kings. Because if they don't know any better, they can't do any better. And it looks to me like a lot of people don't know that they're kings right now. Like I said, they're making a lot of money talking about smoking on ops. So they are not performing and acting like kings. And if you don't know any better, you will not do any better. So along with telling people that they need to act like kings, we need to do our part to reach out and show them what kings are and let them know who they are.
Exactly. Elder.
Yes, sir. I just want to say appreciate all the guys tonight, and I thank God for the life that is disseminated through each of us in some way, something that each of us said in some way that has brought a little bit more understanding to somebody else. And I think that everybody should know that you have something to give to everybody, and your part is important. That's why we have our body, because every part is important. So I just thank God for that opportunity for you tonight.
Now here go Elder gonna go 10 more minutes. Lord, boy.
I'm through.
It's supposed to be a quick closing, boy. Y'all, one of y'all going 15 minutes. Rico, we got this show, man, that we do every day, Monday through Friday, called the Morning Glow. But on Wednesdays, it's something real special. It's something real. What's it called on Wednesday? Rico,
After 2 years, I finally got it right, man. It's Way Out Wednesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Way Out Wednesdays, we open up. We don't have a topic. Every other day we have a topic, but on Wednesday we don't have a topic. We keep it open. Cap D, I need you to come back on screen for me for a second, Cap D. But we open up the phone lines. We open up the phone lines, and whatever's on your heart, you can give us a call and certainly be a part of what we're doing. I need you back on the screen, brother, because if you don't mind, I want you to pray us out.
Okay, thank you for the great honor when we all bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together and uniting us under one heart, one aim, one purpose, and one goal. Bless every man, Almighty God. Touch their life. Heal them of any infirmity that they may have. Increase them in knowledge. Increase them in wisdom. But of all, Lord, increase them in their understanding. Please continue to bless Brother Raheem, who you have chose to be your servant to bring us together. Today, we did not, Lord, disagree with each other. That itself is a miracle. Keep our hearts united and make, Lord, our every effort in your name a success. As we all say together, Amen.
Amen.
Muted there, Cap.
He just talking.
Going.
You on mute, man.
You muted, sir.
Unmute.
Okay. Did y'all hear the prayer?
Yes, we
Oh,
heard.
no. Cap, you're good. We're talking about Raheem.
Unmute.
Hey, out of all the time somebody stuck on mute, look who gets stuck on mute. Ain't that something else?
Wake up and go to sleep.
Yeah, wake up and go to sleep.
Wake up and go to sleep.
I'm like, man, how the word? I don't know how I got muted on. Me.
He just look like going up.
And look at, no, that's better than waking up and be dead.
There you go. Exactly. Okay, let's try this again. I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been a great broadcast. And gentlemen, please share this broadcast. Everybody share the broadcast, man, on your Facebook, on all your social media, so people could actually hear what was said tonight. I think it was real powerful, man. So I really would appreciate it if y'all took just a few minutes and share it. Share it out there, send it out so people could hear. Now, it is 10:03. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and Real Men Being Men for being a part of your evening. It is now 10:03. You're about to exit Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now, we're sharing some of this light on you from Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please, please, please be blessed.